Hello and welcome. Today we are supporting Bar Humbug because it's almost Christmas and I am the Grinch. Today we are going to be working on the UI stuff. Did a poll yesterday out of interest to see when you're building out your UI with Laravel, do you first of all like Folio, controllers and routes? What are people liking? So most people like controls and routes, which was quite interesting. So useful information. I've been working on controllers and routes. So what I'm going to focus in on the code today. I want to make sure that we kind of stay on task. So I've created some GitHub login stuff. We've got GitHub redirect controller, which will do that. And then we've got GitHub callback controller, which at the minute just does this. That's not how I would usually do things. So we're going to do a quick refactor around some of this just to make it Steve-ish. So what we want to do is socialite driver. What this will do, if we click through, it will go to the socialite manager. It will extend the manager, which I believe just kind of pulls in the app or container. Yeah. We want to say with, create GitHub driver, create Facebook driver. We can't call any of those. Can't call any of those. We can build a provider though. So what we want to do is we want to inject this socialite manager because we don't like magic. So what we're going to do is start off with a constructor. And what we're going to do in this constructor is bring in a private read-only socialite manager as manager. So what can we do with this? Well, instead of returning socialite driver, we can return this manager driver, where the driver is GitHub, and redirect. Exactly the same thing, but we're using a little bit less magic, which is always nice. So, hello from Morocco. Hello, Kareem. So why is this complaining? Cannot call method redirect on mixed. Okay, well, we'll worry about that in a minute. What we're going to do first is go to OAuth GitHub redirect. That redirects us to the Pulsara app, which works. Fantastic. So once that comes back, it will come to the callback controller here. So again, we're going to do the same thing. And just pull that in, make this a read-only class because it's immutable, doesn't need anything going on. So the user is this manager driver GitHub user. Pretty much the same thing, but without using the facade. So what the facade will do is it will just kind of load this factory class and just kind of boot it up in the background for you, when we can kind of skip that step easily and just inject. Everything is good. We are happy. This will work. So we want to get that user back. So authorize. We have a Steve. Fantastic. So what can we do with this and how are we going to move forward? So I did some work last night because damn Steve. I've got a database manager and I've got the auth manager here. What I'm going to quickly do is just quickly clean that up. So we've got login. This is how we're going to log in. We accept a payload. Then we're going to say this auth attempt payload to array. Clean, simple, perfect. register accepts a register payload. We're going to perform a transaction where we do a user query, create attributes based on the payload to array. We're going to attempt it 3 times just in case. This is complaining that register should return but returns mixed. Yeah, not a lot I can do about that. So what we want to do at this point is the callback. We're getting this OAuth user at this point. And what we want to do is kind of verify if this user exists or not. So we want a public function. I'm going to say handle OAuth, which is going to accept a user. This may complain about that, so it will likely be sent the socialite contract for this. So we're going to import that as an alias, socialite user. And this, we want to return a user out the other end. So the steps to do that. Does this user exist? Attempt authentication for this user. Return user. So does the user exist? There's many ways that we can approach this. Right now, I think the best approach would be something like, I don't know, model handle OAuth user. I'm going to turn that into just payload so that I can keep naming consistent in methods. And this is the user. And we're going to say this database transaction. And the callback we're going to do is user query first or create. The attributes we care about at this point is the email, where we get payload, email, provider ID, which is payload get ID. And what we're also going to pass in is a provider. And then we also want to pass through the provider. Something like that. So create or update. And then what we're going to have, if they don't have the values, what we're going to do is first name is going to be payload. So we need to work with this name a little bit. We're going to pull in a string of get name. Before first, before last, between first. Okay, so before last space to string. Last name, we then go string of payload. After last space to string. Then we can get that avatar. So payload, get avatar. What else does the payload have? Email name, avatar ID, nickname. That's all good. I'm glad you're enjoying the work. Hopefully you find it useful. What's all this? Status member, string null given. Okay, not a lot I can do about that. And then access token is going to be payload access token. So this payload coming in is going to be a socialite user or an OAuth user. import as auth user. So that payload should have access to token. Yes. So this should all work. We should be able to cast it to a string just to ensure it. That should help there. This is access to undefined property. I always put that in the wrong place. No. There. I never remember where. Is it there? It is there, isn't it? Yeah. Never mind. Ignore me. So, does this user exist? We've kind of focused on that. We can return that user nice and easily. Now, attempt authentication for this user. This auth login using ID, user get key. Sorted. Don't want to worry about remember. And there we go. That should handle the OAuth. So that redirect controller, what we can now do is private identity service as a service. Oh, no, wrong one. Wrong one. Callback controller. This is what we wanted. And we'll put it here. Private identity service as service. So we've got the user, and we want to pass that user here through to the service to get the user. We don't really expect anything to be returned. So this identity service return user can just be a void return because we don't actually need to return anything. So our callback controller can then say this service handle OAuth where the payload is that. That's going to complain. So what I'm going to do instead is just say user is that, and then we're just going to pass that user in. Why is it complaining? Oh wait, no, we need provider GitHub. Whew. Was it that causing the issue? Let's go double check and just replace that. It's complaining a little bit, but not too bad. Then we are going to return new redirect response URL. We are going to go to root home. We could probably just put a slash in that. There we go. This is returning a redirect response. Hey, Naeem. How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good day. So that is all of that pretty good to go. What we're going to do is just fix that whole file. Cannot call method user mixed. It's, I mean, I could think of a cleaner way to do it, but right now it's just, this works. I'm going to leave it at that. So let's come back to here and let's just say GitHub redirect. Bang. Duplicate key value. Okay, so we want to install artisan migrate, but not seed at this point. Redirect, and we're in. Go to the dashboard, resend email verification. So One thing we forgot. Email verified at now. If we are handling OAuth users, they've already kind of verified that user, so we don't actually have to worry about it. Really like the work. I hope you will continue. Yeah, I do plan to carry on with this. Let's redirect. Now we should have access to the dashboard, and the dashboard we are in. It's a blank page because I've got nothing on it. What I want to do quickly is compose require dev Barry Laravel debugbar. Yep, that one. If nobody saw it, there's a new PECL documentation coming out, a new PECL thing being suggested, which is pretty interesting. If you can read about it here, I'm just going to drop that in the chat. It reminded me of it because of this coming up. I need to look at what I'm doing with that, but it's not affecting anything. So that is now authenticating us. What this does is, if we just go to like, I don't know, login, that's going to redirect. So let's just migrate fresh, come back to login, and we need to be running. Actually, we don't want to be running npm run dev because I found an issue. What I need to do is remove Alpine because I was using Blade. This was suggested on Twitter that this was the problem. Remove Alpine. And now run dev. That should be good. Here's my login. Got an email address, password. So if I close that. If I sail artisan migrate fresh seed, I should have a database user created, which will be stevemcd@gmail.com using the password. That's doing stuff. Let's go inspect quickly, make sure that we're not getting that same error. Component already initialized. I'm getting the same error. So Livewire scripts. This is coming from views, Livewire login, which is using the X page component, which I created. And that is resources app.js. It's not doing anything there. Something's going on. So maybe I need to sail artisan optimize clear just to kind of clean everything up. Console. I'm still getting that component already initialized, and I'm not sure why I'm getting Livewire scripts there and Livewire scripts there. Livewire styles is only coming in once. Let's just make sure we're focusing on the entire directory. Go. See, it's not finding it. View, auth register, auth login, Livewire, lots of Livewire. Something funky dunky is going on. Let me see if there's is there any Livewire commands that I can run that maybe will resolve this so I can actually keep going. Model, makes. Livewire copy, delete, configure, attribute, publish, configuration, make a Livewire, publish Livewire stubs, create an app layout file, create a Livewire form class, delete. I'm not seeing why this might be happening, which is really confusing because it's stopping me from doing what I want to do. But we can click on the GitHub button and go and log in. So if I just sail artisan without the seed, I need to look at handling that use case in a little while. GitHub, that should take me through to the dashboard, which then I can click, and I've got the dashboard. Cool. So, all that good stuff. Right, let's close all of that. So we want it to go to the home page, and what the home page is going to do is it's going to list things by default. So if we migrate seed and all that good stuff, if we think about our home page here, this is our home page. What we want it to be is the news feed, what is going on, why it's going on, and how everything works. For this part, I think I'm going to use something like Laravel Folio. So composer require Laravel Folio. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go Laravel Pulse because I think it'll be useful. Ooh. Okay, so we'll drop that a minute. And we're just going to open up the composer JSON. There is a way to install Pulse. Preferred, blah, blah, blah. Now I can install Pulse. Composer require Laravel Pulse. Let's see what Pulse commands we've got going so we can get everything up and running and start seeing what's going on. Pulse check, Pulse work, Pulse purge, Pulse restart. I think Pulse would be useful when you've got a social site because you want to see what's going on in your kind of environment and all that good stuff. Installation, first table true, done that. Let's just publish the provider. Then we want to sail artisan migrate. Probably going to want to look at those migrations first, though. So let's come over to database, migrations. We probably want to reload it from disk because we've had something published. It's all the way up here. Connection, yeah, that's fine. Tables, timestamp type key hash, timestamp type. Anything to do with linking to a user, I need to look to change. No, all looking good. So that migration should be fine. Now, Pulse configure. Let's just publish the configuration and make sure everything is good to go. Authorization. We're going to keep that defaults. All of that good stuff. All of that is fine. Captures. Slow queries. Right. So I should be able to take this, and I think it's like Pulse. Here we go. Okay, so it's looking for name on the user. That is the first problem. So maybe I'll look at that another time. So where to go from here? Not that, obviously. We want to build out this feed. Now we've installed Folio, and Folio is going to be there for certain parts of the pages. What we want to do is, if we look at our web routes here, we've got this view at the moment. Hey, Daniel. What I think needs to be done here is we need that just needs to go to the feed, right? So we can say, hey, make Livewire pages feed, something like that. So then this just goes there. Refresh. That is all good, which allows us to then come over and just delete this welcome. Can remove that. We go to Livewire pages feed. This is going to say X page title is welcome to Pulsara. That's all it needs to start with. Still just say Laravel up the top, but we'll worry about that in a second. Pages feed is there. If we come up to the Livewire, where are you? Here you are. Pages feed. So this is how I like to do my Livewire components. They are still PHP classes. I still like to do them in a specific way. And I still like to use injection where it makes sense. So factory. And we will return factory make. The view I'm making is Livewire pages feed. That should all make things work. So let me just inspect that. We're going to get an error down here because component is already initialized. For some reason, I can't figure out what is causing this. Tell you what I'll do is I will go the YouTube link and we are going to tweet it. Anyone able to come on stream and see why Livewire isn't behaving. I can just pull someone in on stream and see if they want to join. Right, so Livewire, we are loading in pages feed. It's detecting multiple instances of Alpine for some reason. NPM is running. Ooh. Let's make sure that Alpine has been removed. No, it hasn't. Let's npm run dev or update. npm update. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out, the kind of Alpine Livewire stuff. It's Alpine that's being registered twice, I think. So now if I npm run dev, it's still being loaded twice for some reason. So I've no longer got it as a dependency. In the resources, JavaScript, I'm not even touching Alpine anymore. I'm not using this component at all. That's literally just dead. Don't need it, don't want it. I'd remove it, but it will break things. This page here, all we've got going on here is Vite, nothing else. A Livewire page is just extending that X page component and saying test. We've got that. But for some reason, we're getting some Livewire issue, which I cannot figure out. So for now, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm going to get on as much as I can and hope somebody smarter than me knows what the heck is going on. So when we get to this feed, what we want the data to come back is we want to kind of just basically pass back the kind of the feed here. So we want to say group with, we're going to want to include some relationships. We're going to order by latest to start with, and then we will paginate it. So we can tell our full page component to use with pagination. And the relationships that we want to pull from a group are going to be posts and profile. Post, profile, and user. So with posts, profile, but user. Ooh, an idea in the chat. Livewire, inject assets. False. Let's test it. Well, that's disappeared. That's a good sign. Thank you. We have a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Thank you very much. I would never have figured that one out. I'm not a front ender. I'm just not. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quick section. It's going to look ugly. Yeah, that's just life right now. We're going to have a H1 and we're going to have feed name. Length of web paginator. Okay. Ooh, I did that wrong. Latest, first, and we want to say where status is status verified. Feed. We've got our first feed. Fantastic. So now what we're going to want to do after this H1 is we're just going to add a P tag and we're just going to say feed description for now. The default news feed group, that's cool. Underneath this, we're just going to add a UL and say like for each feed posts as post. At this point, we got our post. We can add an LI. This is going to have an article tag. That article tag will have a header. Main content. And some footer for now. So in the footer, we want to know post, profile, handle. All by me. Fantastic. Let me hide that now. Thank you very much, Silvio. That was massively appreciated. So if we open up post, what do we have on it? We've got stage, content, and group. So what we want to do is take this query further. Where I believe we're able to do this. So bear with me. Where status is that with posts. We can then drop in this builder where stage approved, then we're also going to want posts dot profile dot user. Eloquent builder has many given. Okay, so we're going to drop that and we're going to do a where has posts and we add this here where stage is stage approved. That hopefully resolves it. Doesn't match. So I've broken my magic. Where has callback, where stage is that, where that, with this, something's gone wrong. What did I break? Up there in the view. Post has a profile, user, first name. I'm just doing that for now. Steve, just Steve. Perfect. So let me open up Notion because I found some cool stuff while looking around. I spent some time last night just kind of trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and how it should work. I found like loads of cool Tailwind components for a Twittery clone, some card effect stuff. And basically, I wanted to see what we could do to, like this one, if we copy link to that one, how easy is it to create something like this, where we're building out what basically these Twitter cards in effect. So if we inspect that quickly, that uses that second tweet is going to copy that and drop it in and see how it looks, because that's the sort of thing that we want to do. So we'll remove that article for now. Are we running NPM in the background? We are. So something's gone winky wonky donkey, which is fine. It just means that list none, and we're not constraining anything. So let's look at just kind of resolving some of that. List none. We're going to drop all of that in there. We're going to open up some Tailwind UI. We're going to go to our components. And we're going to go to a container. We're going to go for this first container. And we're just going to make a new component. So the way I like to create kind of applications might be different to most people. I've got how I do A's, how I do H2s, P tags, and I'm then going to create my container. It allows me to kind of apply global styles really quickly and really easily without thinking, without worrying. It just makes so much sense to me. So I'm just going to grab all of that. What I like to do is say attributes merge, where we're starting with the initial class of that. That allows me to come over to feed here, grab that list there, X container, and drop it in, which should make this a bit cleaner. So the color's off, understandable. I can fix colors. Let's just kind of drop this out. Transition, duration, I'm not too bothered about that. Flex, shrink, that's all cool. Target blank, no. Grid block, fine. Inline block, rounded full, okay. Text base, get rid of this text white stuff. I don't do text colors unless I need to. I like everything to kind of build up to where I need it. Font medium, that's all fine. And PL16, get rid of that text white. We'll keep that text blue for the link for now. Repeat, background cover, background center, here's an image. Yeah, okay, we'll keep that as well. So let's have a look now. So we've got this kind of content card or postcard, which allows us to understand it a little bit more. So what we need to do at this point is start breaking it into something kind of usable. Like the whole thing is pretty much clickable. So we could probably move this class up, which allows us to get rid of an element that we don't need. Then if we drop that down, I don't know if that div is even needed. So what we'll do is we'll refresh that. That looks off. It was some form of flex thing, wasn't it? Let's put that back for now. And we'll start small. We'll start with this bit where the name is. I have already created an element for this. I have got XP where I can then just kind of grab this and drop it in, and let's just compare it. I prefer mine, it's cleaner, obviously. I'm always going to prefer the thing that I created, right? Right, so that is that. Drop this XP in here as well, which means I can then just kind of grab all of that content and drop it in. Let's compare. My text is a little bit lighter, which is, for me, okay. Got an image, got SVG, that's kind of like the footer action stuff, which we can kind of worry about in a little while. You can't see all of those, but we can come back to them. So next up, what we want is like this avatar over here. So we're going to have a persistent style for our avatars. I'm not a big fan of circle avatars. They've been overused. Let's look at like, I don't know, slightly rounded avatars. Second one, this one. Something like this instead. Let's go compare that to, let's just copy that and paste that in. Come and have a look at the difference. I just think when everything else is kind of squared or slightly rounded, dropping in circles doesn't work. To me, it just doesn't. That's just my opinion. Let's make that a 10 to match what it was. And it just, I don't know, it just feels more uniform to me. So I'm going to create a new component and we're going to call it avatar. We're going to say avatar.blade.php. We're going to basically end with this. So we're going to have a class, defaulting it to 10. We're going to move the source down and we're going to drop that alt down and we're going to close that tag. So these are going to want to be merged. Attributes, merge, class, that. Yes, this is a PHP Storm UI. It is it's just really nice. I like it. It's just kind of really just works for me. Some weird dictation things come up on my Mac. Give me a second. There we go. That can disappear. So this is going to have the source in it, and then this is going to have the alt text, and we want to define that they are our props. Source and alt. Alt is going to have a default of avatar. So then when we come back over to our feed, this avatar, we can just say X avatar, where the source is host profile user avatar, and the alt is post profile handle avatar. There we go. So now we can drop that. We've got what we want there. The name here, we are going to say span post profile user first name and then last name underneath. We're going to split the names just into spans, just in case we want to kind of, display it slightly differently. Then we got the last name, McDougall, perfect. Here's a span here. We've got like a hidden span of way over there. No. Okay, so weird. Close that span. We're going to then say post profile handle. We're going to add the at within there, otherwise it kind of messes it up a little bit. Text medium. I don't know. I'm going to make that more bold. You just make it stand out. I think they should kind of be on top of each other. So like, I don't know, flex col maybe. That's the one. No. Maybe just one span for now. And we'll just do it like that. Like this. And like that. Drop that span. That looks a little bit cleaner to me. Flex goal, items, center. Nope. Start. Justify center. Nice. Then this 18th of April. I hate it when you just get random things like a dot. MD dot. And we're just going to say post. I believe it was published at. So we can grab that. And say diff for humans. Make sure that looks nice. I don't know what weird H's. It's that MD dot. So I think that's like a dot. That's an up dot. There's a lot of different things that you could do. Let's do like a tilde for now. We'll worry about that later. And And this image, that's fine. What we want to do though is within there, we want to just display this as markdown. I'm going to add a div because we're going to want to add styling to it later. Post content, and that's just some text. That's going to be a little bit big for what we want it to be to start with. We're going to drop that image there. So you can do all that stuff, that's fine. But what we're going to want to do is like string limit it. Post content. Is there like a limit? Yeah, we'll just limit to 200 characters for now. And then like you click to view more just to make it nicer. Then all this stuff. Let's just drop this text white stuff that I've got going on. That's not useful for me. Text white, text white. Not very usable. Also not really being used properly. So there's all that good stuff. We got that going on. Then if we swap to dark mode, things are looking okay. I mean, that's going to fail on accessibility, but I will worry about that in a little while. So the icons that we've got are, I'm assuming, share. If we come back to this, it's, yeah, share. So if we copy this icon, and we're going to take it over to our icons over here. We're going to create a new share.blade.php. There might be a nice way you can do this sort of stuff. If you know of any, let me know. How did I do the GitHub one? Attributes, merge, stroke current. Keep it simple as that. Field current for this one. Come back to here, and we're just going to implement that share quickly. So x icons.share. How nice is that? So much nicer to do. We do want to pass through that as well. So then we can say class is that. And it's like it never moved. We then want to grab the likes, I'm assuming, hearts, because we could do a heart. Heart.blade.php. Drop all of that. It's pretty much the same thing as what we just did. Then we can swap this out to be the same thing. And it allows us to really quickly and easily maintain our icons. This is obviously requote or something. I don't know if I'm going to support that. I don't like it on Twitter. It's fine, but it's just like some, yeah, not for me. Not for me. And then we're just going to have comment.blade.php. This is our comment stuff. So we'll just grab that, remove, and do the same thing on the comment. Then over on our feed, we can replace it for the share and say, actually, we want to use the comment. And suddenly we're all good. Lovely, lovely, looking good. We've got some reusable components going on. All of these kind of flex wrappery things are okay. I'm going to remove that text gray. because I don't want it. I don't want it. There we go. It now matches everything, and it feels accessible, right? Like if we go to GitHub, what I love about the new GitHub is how accessible it feels. Okay, I haven't done that feature thingy, feature preview, colorblind themes. I haven't got dark mode enabled on GitHub, but if you look at that website, it is very usable. It's clear. And if you go to Twitter, yeah, it is kind of clear. It's more designy stuff. There you go. I just prefer it this way. It just looks clean. This media option card thing, it just looks nice. I'm gonna remove that tilde. Well, yeah, we're gonna pipe it. We're gonna pipe it. Span. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. That is all good. That is all good. We've got some UI stuff going on. We've got our feed for each item here. We're going to do that. Then we're going to drop another div at the bottom. And we are going to say posts, links, go. Right. Feed, posts, links. Can I... Let me close down some of these files that I don't actually need. Comment, art, avatar, link, p, container, feed. Can I paginate? What am I doing today? My brain's just farting all over the place. I do apologize. What happens if I do that? Laravel, paginate. Actually, do I need the feed? I don't need the feed, do I? What I could probably do is just put that all under posts and say post query. Eventually, we're going to paginate. And instead of doing all of this kind of stuff there, we want to say where the stage for this is stage approved, where has a group, and that group needs to be a verified group. That's probably a nicer way to do it, because then you're aggregating everything from... You're aggregating all posts instead of just getting specific posts for a group. So now we can say builder where status is status verified. We are going to drop this down onto new line soon. Where am I? And what we're also going to want to do is say with profile.user paginate, we want that to be latest based on I'll just keep it at that. So then we just get feed, and we're going to drop feed. Feed can go. We don't want feed. It is not useful for us. So on this bit, we're going to drop that because it's not super important. And we can just say posts as post. I have no idea why I didn't think of this. It must be one of those days. 0 length delimiter. So select all from posts where stage is approved and exists. Select all from groups where post group ID is group ID and status is verified. Order by Wait, I dropped in that. That is what's going to cause the issue. There we go. Add scope for your post like approved. Yeah, definitely. So what I'd probably do at this point is if we look at the post model, what we've got is we've got our default relationships and everything going on. What we can now do is new Eloquent builder. And what I like to do with this is to come over to our models, create a new namespace called builders, and I will create a post builder at this point. What this will do is extends the Eloquent builder, public function approved, and it is going to return a post builder back. Turn this where status is status verified. So that's verified, sorry. So there's that. Then we're also going to go create a group builder, which extends builder. And now we can look at the approved. And return this where stage approved done. Come over to group. So we can then say new Eloquent builder. This is going to return an Eloquent builder, and we will then grab all that, and we're going to return a new group builder where the query is the query that's passed in. That is all good. And on the post itself, we will turn that into a builder. Pretty sure there's like an interface that I can use, but I'll come back to that in a second. Post builder, where the query is a query, and that should resolve that. If I click on that, implement builder contract. So what I'm going to do is say we're actually going to return the builder contract instead, so that we get less conflicts in the model if I need the builder for anything else. So let's just refresh. That's all good. So if we come back to our feed, we can say, instead of approved there, we can say approved. And builder where status verified, we should be able to say verified. And nope, post builder approved isn't working. Post builder verified. I wrote it wrong again, didn't I? Verified and approved. It feels the wrong way around. Post where Post stage. I'm doing something wrong. Open up the post stage. Posts have a stage. Stage approved. Rename that to approved. Then this will actually be approved posts. That makes sense. Jesus, Steve. Jesus. And this has a status. And this will be status verified. Change that to verified. Just clean that up. Oh, Steve, what are you doing? Go have some coffee, maybe. I usually start my stream with a coffee, and I didn't bring a coffee today, so maybe that's that. There we go. We're back where we wanted to. Yay! Oh, Steve, what are you doing? Right. So now we've got all of that. We can paginate through them, and life is good. Pagination's not working for some reason. Let's go and click. Clickety click click console. Why are you all not working? Oh, injecting I turned to false, which means I need to inject assets, which could be something to do with views component. Let me just go double check elements. I'm not seeing Livewire. I'm not seeing that. Perfect. So in my page, I can just say Livewire scripts, and underneath here, Livewire styles. This, and then can do that, and this go to here, and so it won't. It just keeps something's going on. Maybe it's something to do with full page components. I don't know. Let me click on this. No, so something's going on. I don't know what. Why use a class name for return type and not self? So that is because I don't want to. To put it bluntly. Okay, so let's go through that as an example. Builder, group builder. So we are returning group builder. I'm using a final class. Yes, I could return self, but I like declarative code, and that type is what works best for me. Doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. So that's why I do it, basically. Like approved there, polymorphic call. That's a pain. Like, I mean, I think you can do like a new or a query. No, you've got to stick with query. Okay, never mind. But yeah, it is a bit of a pain, but it works. With where has builder, where has latest paginate approved, where has. Let's just kind of tidy this up. There we go. That is now working. Paginate. With pagination, we've got what we want. And what we are even able to do is if we come down to our Livewire pages feed, we can come up here and we can just wire poll on this, which means that, well, it's probably not going to work right now because Livewire is not injecting, but worry about that another time. Right now, I think that is us starting My microphone is always in the way of that button. Right over there. Right, that one there. You see it? Click it. Gone. So, 17 models, and we are running 4 queries apparently. So let's look at those queries. Select count as aggregate. Select all as posts. Looks like something could be improved here, right? Maybe a subquery of some description with approved where has. It looks like we can go further. Right now, though, been going for just over an hour. I'm going to call it a day because I've got a cool video to record today for work. As usual, thank you very much. Stay awesome. And I will maybe catch you tomorrow. Let me know on Twitter. Have a good day.